Admiral Kirby, welcome to the show. Good to have you here. What did the Secretary of State say in this rare call yesterday with Sergey Lavrov, and how hard did he push for the release of Evan Gershkovich?
He pushed very hard for that release and for the release of Paul Whelan. This was a very direct conversation with Foreign Minister Lavrov, and I won't go into all the details of the conversation, but Secretary Blinken made it clear that we don't believe Evan should have been picked up, that journalism is not a crime, and that he ought to be released immediately.
Have you learned anything about Evan's condition? I know that nobody has seen him or spoken to him, but have you learned anything through other back channels about how he is?
Sadly, no, Elizabeth. We've been trying to gain consular access to Evan since we found out that he'd been arrested, and we have not been able to get that access to him, which is critically important for the exact same reason you asked that question. We want to know how he's physically doing, how he's mentally doing, what help and assistance he might need. We want to lay eyes on him and have an ability to have a conversation with him, and I can assure you that our embassy in Moscow is doing everything they can to work with Russian officials to get that access. But sadly, no, we haven't had it yet.
John Bolton, the former national security advisor under the Trump administration, called this an act of state terror that was, quote, targeted hostage taking. Is he right?
We don't know exactly what the motivation here was. I mean, look, it's not uncommon for Mr. Putin to detain and wrongfully so, Americans as well as people from other countries. So this isn't a new tactic for him. But whether they picked him up specifically to try to drive some sort of exchange or a deal, we don't know that. We just haven't gotten that kind of clarity from the Russians. All we have to go on is what they've said publicly. And, of course, you know, what they've said in the few diplomatic conversations we've had, that they believe that he was conducting espionage on behalf of the U.S. government, which is, of course, a ludicrous charge. He's not. He's a journalist. And that's another reason why, again, we condemn this detention, and we want him back just as soon as possible.
Right. Well, you just got to the nub of my question, which is, how does something like this happen? Is this something the FSB planned in advance? Is this something they did on the spur of a moment? Did Putin know they were going to arrest an accredited journalist in their country? And that thing, because this obviously escalates diplomatic tensions between the two countries.
You're asking the same questions that we are, Elizabeth. The truth is that we don't know the answers to that right now, but we are doing everything we can to try to find out. But more critically, we're going to continue to do everything we can to get Evan released, and Paul Whelan, who is also there under trumped-up, ridiculous espionage charges, and he deserves our full attention as well. So we're going to work very, very hard to get both these Americans home.
There were some people who were worried after we swapped Brittany Griner, the WNBA star, for the Russian arms dealer, that we were setting a precedent of swapping, that this would actually encourage other autocrats, other, dictators around the world to kidnap American citizens. Do you think those concerns were valid?
It's difficult to point to some sort of mathematical case to prove that happens. I mean, I've heard that argument before. Certainly, we're mindful that there are some autocrats around the world that might be thinking that way. This is not a new tactic for Mr. Putin to detain Americans, and wrongfully so, and under ridiculous charges. But we don't know exactly what's behind this particular one, or whether it was motivated by the fact that we were able to negotiate for Brittany's release. I'll tell you this, though, Elizabeth. When we have an American who's wrongfully detained, and they're still, State Department's still working through their process here of describing the circumstances under Evan's detention, so I don't want to get ahead of them. But when that happens, the president is going to work, and his team is going to work hard to get them home, and sometimes in doing that, you have to make some difficult decisions. And sometimes you are going to have to make a trade to get that American home. And the president has proven on more than one occasion since taking office that he's willing to have that hard discussion. He's willing to make those tough decisions, that he wants to put our Americans first and foremost in his mind. And so, yeah, we made a decision to get Brittany home. And it was a difficult decision, but in a sense it wasn't, because he wanted to make sure that we did everything we can to get Brittany and Paul. Quite frankly, we wanted both of them.
Right.
But the Russians weren't buying that.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.